Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday's Truth with Alonda Hassel. My truth this week. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Let me start from the beginning. I'm so overwhelmed and I feel so blessed, but let me start from the beginning. So my students, we're about to start a new book, and I'm really big on this unit that talks about stereotypes and bias and just injustice. And I start this unit with teaching. I can't even say reminding students, but teaching them about a lot of the injustice that happens in our society. And I start from Trayvon Martin and Eric Gardner and Sandra Bland. And, sadly, the names keep climbing. I can end with Breonna Taylor and with, of course, George Floyd, because they are familiar with those names, and maybe not the details, but they're familiar at least with the names and the injustice that happens. And then they find their own injustice and they write about it, and they pull out Oscar Grant and all of these names that are just like, Miss Hassel, how does this keep happening? How are these people not in jail? So on and so on, right? They get really excited and they get hyped to learn about it. They're excited. And while I'm excited to teach it, and I'm happy that they're excited, I think it's a real topic that needs to be taught in school, and I don't shy away from it. And so normally we would go into the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a classic, Harper Lee. A classic. I've had students in the middle of the book when they're in trial, like weeping because they don't understand how Tom Robinson, I don't want to spoil it for somebody that never read it. But if you haven't read it, please read it. But how the injustice, I can say it that way, happens to Tom Robinson, and they are irate. They are, because they're reading it. They have all the details of the story. And they're somewhat outraged and they're confused and they don't understand how it could happen. And remember, I'm teaching middle schoolers, so a lot of them, and I tell them all the time, fortunately, but unfortunately, they're going to experience it more. A lot of them don't know yet. They're still young. They're 12, 13, 14, so they don't really know yet. But because of some curriculum map changes, To Kill a Mockingbird is no longer part of the curriculum for middle school. So I was sort of scurrying around a couple years ago looking for a new text that can help me still deal with and teach this injustice and what it is to take a stand for the injustices of the world. And so I came across Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and I knew that I needed the books. I asked my school for the books. They weren't getting them. I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know where that money comes from. And most times, as most educators do, I go in my pocket and I get what they need. I get what my class needs. But this time I was like, I'm just going to ask. I'm going to ask if people can donate a couple of books, and then I'll just buy the rest. I needed 60 copies, $10 each. I was willing to make it up. I probably was going to do 30 copies if I got no support, but I said, let me just ask. Well, I asked, and your response was and remains it's still overwhelming. So I guess my truth is that, even though I say oftentimes we have to not be afraid to ask for help, and we have to, know that we've got a strong village around us. And I know that I have a strong village. I didn't feel really comfortable asking in this instance because it's something for my career. It's, it's not personal. It's not for my church. It is for my community, because the school that I work in, I'm very happy to say, is literally around the corner from our church. So this is definitely our community. You know, we say all the time, like, this is our hood. And sometimes when I leave work, I see my students in the community, and I love that. I love that they see us, and we see each other, I should say, not just in a school building, but I'm also a part of their community. I just think that's very important. And I know that as a result of that, I can teach them things that perhaps other people can't, because I'm absolutely a part of their community. And we're there to help their community grow and be better. So I know that it gives me an in with them. But I don't know. I didn't know what the response was going to be. I thought I'd get, a couple books and a couple people that would support. You guys. Not only did I get all 60 books, I have extra money. I'm going to a book that we just finished called Inside Out and Back Again. It's about a family they're refugees from Vietnam, and they are fleeing Vietnam and coming to America. We just finished that book, and I had to use a PDF, but the books in class were just raggedy. You would open the book and 12 pages are missing. They were just in poor shape, and I taped as much as I could. And it's not because they're not taking care of the books. It's not that. It's because, they're books, they're paperback, they're small. You throw them in your book bag. Things are all on top of them. They're at home. They come back. So I get it. It's not kids being reckless. We're using the materials and they're being worn down. But I am going to replace those as well. So I have enough money to purchase new books. So many of you have sent new books in. So I started unpacking some in my classroom today, and the kids got really excited. And I'm also going to purchase a new set or two of the book that we already used, because your generosity has just, I don't know, it is such a blessing. And I guess it's a challenge. Well, let me say this, and I think Misha said this, to go into a classroom and have materials that are used or that are just raggedy, it makes you feel some kind of way as a student. And so I feel like these brand new books for them will help them feel better and want to read. Not to mention, the book is phenomenal. If you have young people in your life, you might want to get this book. And there's a sequel. We're reading Dear Martin. There's a sequel to the book called Dear Justice. And I don't want to give it away, but man, oh man, they're both great, great reads by Nick Stone. She is amazing. She's on social media, on Instagram. I follow her. Great writer. She has other books for a younger audience as well. So you should look her up. African American writer. Just support her. But I don't know. I am a giver. I see things on Facebook and I see things on Instagram. Somebody needs money for this, I just send it. Somebody says it's my birthday, I send it. And I don't really think twice about it. So receiving at this magnitude my mind is blown. My heart feels so warm and beautiful. And I told my students that there are a lot of people out there who love them and care about them. And they were just like, yo, that is awesome. I also told them that I'm going to get them some pizza with some of the other money, because I just want them to know that they are a part of an amazing village. and that there are people who are still kind, and there are people who are still loving, and people who still don't mind giving of their own resources to be a blessing to someone else. And I pray that your generosity will spread, and that my students will pay it forward. When they're in a position to give, I pray that they don't think twice about it. I pray that you're blessed because you gave, and that, you know, people will start to do this more often. Again, I think we used to do it and we kind of pulled back from it, but I hope that we start to be able to be a blessing to each other again. Because if I had waited for the district or whomever, wherever these books come from to get, I may have never gotten them. And my students may have really struggled and suffered and not learned at the level they could, because they don't have the proper materials. But because of your generosity, not only can we read together in class, they can take their books home and read them, and everyone have their own copy. So I absolutely, positively appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, I kept saying to my husband, oh my gosh, I cannot believe. And even hitting send to upload the video, I was nervous. I don't know why. I was nervous, I guess, just because I don't want to be a beggar. I don't want to, I don't know. I don't even know if I was thinking pride, but it could have been. But I am absolutely appreciative of all of you who were able to send monetary donations or actually purchase books and send them. I mean, I'm very appreciative, and I'm going to post pictures as the books come in. I was on the phone getting calls and, saying they're trying to deliver, they're trying to do this. And so we're working things out. But I really, really thank you. Thank you for reminding me of my own worth. And that is such a blessing, because I try to post things and say things that will encourage people and help them. But I'm so grateful that I'm around, or I have people in my life who are able to also remind me of my worth, and that I can ask and I can receive, because I give, and I give it selflessly. And I think that's really important. So thank you so much. This is my truth. My truth is that I am appreciative. I'm grateful, and I love all of you. Thank you so much for just being who you are. And I pray that it comes back to you some 30, 60, 100 fold, that you lack for nothing for the sacrifice that you made. And I don't care if it was $10 or $100. So many of you were just so gracious, and I appreciate you. That is my truth. I love you all. Please share this video so that we can remind one another that it's okay to be a blessing to others and to pay it forward. All right? That's my Tuesday's truth. I love you all. Enjoy your day.